Hey everybody, Adrian here with blendrecommender.com. Today I am going to be recommending a Latakia blend, an English blend that is a little bit unique. It is McBaren's HH Vintage Syrian. So Vintage Syrian, it contains quite a high percentage of Syrian Latakia as opposed to Cyprian Latakia, which we find today in most English blends. So I was doing a little bit of homework, just trying to figure out the main differences. They certainly taste a little bit different. I could tell that right off the bat as I started smoking Vintage Syrian versus some of the other English blends that I smoke. And so from what I've found, what I've read, just to give you a little bit of a background if you're not real familiar with the Syrian counterpart to Latakia from Cyprus, it is, I guess, the original Latakia. It's named after the port city of Latakia in Syria. And for the longest time, I guess most English blends used Syrian Latakia. It became less and less available because the natural resources, the wood that was harvested to use to fire cure the Sheikh El Bint leaf, that strain of tobacco that they used in Syria to produce Latakia, were dwindling. The natural resources, that supply was getting lower and lower into, I believe, the 1950s. And so in the early 1960s, the Syrian government decided just to put a moratorium on all production of Syrian Latakia, just to conserve, those forests that were being harvested, to produce the Syrian Latakia. A lot of the blends that were really popular at that time, like some of the older Sobranis, they used Syrian Latakia, and they were able to keep producing those blends for a couple more decades because they had stocked up on that leaf. But slowly, especially other producers, kind of had to shift over to Cyprian Latakia, which is it is based on the Smyrna leaf, the Oriental leaf, and it is lower in nicotine level than the Sheikh El Bint leaf. And it has a much smokier campfire type aroma that we're all familiar with from the English blends of today. And as I started smoking the Vintage Syrian from McBaren, I noticed it's a lot brighter. Almost, kind of like comparing lighter lemon Virginias to darker, red Virginias. You're still unmistakably smoking a Virginia, but one is a little bit earthier, the other one's a little bit brighter, and the Syrian is a little bit brighter. 3 different manufacturers, from what I found, were able to get their hands on a pretty large amount of the Syrian Latakia. Maybe in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was McBaren, McClellan, and then also Cornell and Deal. And as you know, DL Peace is blended. Those his blends are taken care of and blended, distributed by Cornell and Deal. Their entire stock of Syrian Latakia was stored in a warehouse, and it was burned to the ground. It burned. They lost the entire lot, I believe, in 2004. So some great blends that GL Peace, had at the time. I believe he had 3 or 4 different blends that contained Syrian Latakia. They were no longer able to produce more. McClellan and McBaren still have quite a bit from their stockpile. It was warehoused separately, so they weren't affected by what happened to Cornell and Deal. And McClellan does a 3 Oaks Syrian, which I have not tried, but I definitely want to try it now that I've smoked McBaren HH Vintage Syrian, and know that I really like that subtle difference in the Latakias. This blend supposedly has just a little less than 50% Syrian Latakia. I think if a blend had just under 50% Cyprian Latakia, it would be too much. You wouldn't be able to, for me anyway, you wouldn't be able to detect and appreciate the other component tobaccos, which this one includes some other Orientals, some Virginias, and then also a little bit of Dark Fire Kentucky. And I can still pick out all of those and appreciate those. So I highly recommend this blend. If you want to try an English blend that's a little bit different, a little bit lighter, it's kind of got a zest to it, or if you're just curious to try the Syrian Latakia that was really the staple for so many blends for over 100 years, then we're very fortunate that McClellan and McBaren still have some of it, and they're producing some great blends. This one, very, very good. So I highly recommend you give it a try. Until next time, enjoy your pipes. Have a great day.